Good morning, everybody. I'm working on the cover for my journal for Dear Julie's June Junk Journal Challenge. And I had mentioned in my last video that my book is, this journal that I'll be using for the cover is 10 1/4 inches high by 7 1/8 inches wide, and that I was going to be cutting it down. Well, you can see here I've gone ahead and started that process, but I thought, I really ought to turn the camera on just because this might help somebody in some way. At the very least, it may show you what not to do. I've never actually done one this way, quite this way, so we'll see how it goes. But what I did on this side, and I will do it again on the back side so you can see, is I measured 6 inches over from this edge, made my marks, used this big ruler, have no idea where it came from, but I love it for cutting, and my box cutter. And I just cut that down. So the front side is done. The back side, I don't know if you'll recall, but in my last video, this was tucked in here, and this is the closure for the journal. So I pulled the backing paper off to see if I could get this out, and sure enough, I can just pull it out. There's just a little slit there. So now I can save that. The other thing that I thought was interesting, oftentimes we hear, and I've even said it myself, to leave a 1/8 to 1/4 inch gap between your spine and your back and front covers. And I thought, well, I'm curious. So I pulled this out. Now this is folded, obviously, in the spine. So I stretched it out, and there is actually a 3/8 inch gap between the spine and the back cover. I don't know if that's true for all books, but what that kind of tells me is that probably a 1/4 inch gap is the minimum I want to leave. When I've done these before, I've always left it closer to 1/8 of an inch, but then I have trouble getting my fabric or paper or whatever I'm using to seat between. Well, with a 1/4 inch and certainly a 3/8 inch gap, you'd have a much easier time doing that. So I'm just letting you know that, just because I found it kind of interesting that actually 1/8 of an inch, I mean, this is a mass, machine manufactured book, and even it has a 3/8 of an inch gap. So take that for whatever purpose you want. Now, when I cut this off, obviously I've got this left. This is 1 1/8 inches wide. Not quite wide enough for the spine I want on this journal, but I'll definitely be keeping that. And then I'm going to go ahead and get, oh, I've already measured it. I was wondering what those black marks were. That's where I measured. So I'm going to get to cutting. This is where I will be speeding the video up and putting light music to the background so that when if I start cussing and fussing because my arm gets tired, you won't hear it. So here we go. Okay, so I've got my back edge cut. And that looks good. Okay. Now you saw it took me several passes. I was not pushing down on the blade. When you've got it lined up, it helps to have a sharp blade. But basically you just want to set the blade up there and let it run along the edge of your ruler for as many passes as it takes. If you push down on the ruler, you are more apt to have the ruler swing out. It's actually harder to keep that straight line the harder you push down on your knife. Don't ask me how I know that. Because the other cover didn't go nearly as smoothly as that one. Because I always forget with my first passes not to push down hard on the knife. Okay. So now I need to... Okay, those look good. They match up well. So now I need to get my 9 inches. And this is 10 1/4. So I need half of 10 1/4. Let's see, not half of 10 1/4. I need 1 1/4 inches off, which would be 5/8 on each end. Now, if you're asking yourself, Marcy, why aren't you measuring with your metal ruler? I hate this ruler for measuring. It's got too many different marks on it, so I always go back to my trusty plastic ruler. I love this ruler for cutting. Hate it for cutting heavy stuff. I'd gotten this ruler, I have no idea where I got it. But I got it several years ago when I was cutting matting frames for pictures and stuff. So there we have it. Now, I'm going to see. Yeah, this one isn't coming up as easily. It actually probably would have been easier if I'd peeled this up when it still had the rounded corner. Then I could have saved that sheet. To potentially use in my journal somehow. But that's okay. I'm just going to take that off. Now there's really no reason that I need to take this off. Other than it is kind of slick. So if I can get it off, that will just keep me from feeling the need to sand it. And I'm sure I'm completely out of frame as I'm trying to find these corners, but I got to be able to see, and my old eyes just aren't what they used to be. Okay, so you want to talk about deconstructing a book for a journal. I don't think you can get any more deconstructed than that. So that's it. I've not cut my spines yet, but I think for this journal I'll be putting in a 1.5 inch spine, I think is what I determined. I'm planning to use, I think, 3 signatures of only about, I'm going to start out with only 6 pages in each signature, I think. And then I'll see how fluffy it gets. And if I need, and if it doesn't get fluffy enough, I can always add more pages. But I'd rather add pages than have to pull pages out. So I'm going to get my spine cut down. And in the next video, I will show you how I'm going to start covering my book. So until then, be safe, stay healthy, happy crafting, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.